Hello everyone, my name is James and this is the Easter Egg Hunter, where for one of the final instalments of 2016 we are going to cover no less than 16 video games that either contain amusing mistranslations or spelling mistakes across a diverse range of titles. To start off, here's Air Fortress, a side-scrolling shoot-the-hell-out-of-everything adventure developed by HAL Laboratory, released in 1987 and an exclusive to the NES, which seems great, except during the translation of the game's intro and backstory, it seems to be missing useful words to complete sentences, and there are also a couple of spelling errors. On the planet Farmel, they had the glorious days for 2 centuries since the Stardate had established. They sailed all around the galaxy with new type spaceship called Lightship, but one day the peace was disturbed by a mysterious big fortress. It was living and was destroying all other civilizations. Over the course and progression of the Samurai Shodown fighting series, it has always been highly praised by winning and obtaining many awards. And not to take anything away from that, but in the 4th installment, start up a fight and win or lose the first round, and instead of the word victory gracing the screen, we receive Victoly instead. From one fighter to another, here's the 93 Neo Geo port of Fatal Fury Special, where upon reaching the challenger of Tung Fu, one of his messages to threaten the player includes, "Your fists of evil are about. Meet my steel wall of niceness." Not exactly the worst message apart from the word "to" missing, but the whole niceness, well, that isn't exactly intimidating, is it? This next one has made it all the way to KnowYourMeme.com, being quoted by the AVGN and Deadpool, and even became an unlockable trophy when the game was released onto the PlayStation Network. As yes, this is X-Men Arcade from 1992, and here's what Magneto has to say to you just before your encounter with the Wendigo below. Spelling mistakes are so easy to make. Hell, I make them all the time, and somehow even after proofreading a sentence or paragraph time and time again. Anyway, it's Resident Evil Revelations by Capcom for the Nintendo 3DS. Well, the front cover looks perfect, but if we turn to the spine, you'll notice the I has been placed before the T. Luckily for Capcom, they quickly became aware of this error and apparently were even willing to ship anyone with this cover a fixed replacement. The same thing also happened to early boxes of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Just look here at this particular sentence. The immersive storyline and environments draw players into an amazing 3D world. Spot the mistake? Well, look again and you will see an extra I has been added to the word environments. And while we're on boxes, let's check out Bionic Commando's manual and slightly mistranslated opening paragraph on page 4. I'll talk about a person which I've met when I was young. In 1980X, we've found NAS's top secret material called Albatross, a plan which never was put to practice. Remember the worldwide craze of the handheld digital pet toy known as a Tamogotchi, where you could nurture your very own virtual pet, play games, feed it, and if you left it long enough, it would die? Well, Bandai released Tamogotchi for the Gameboy in '97, which included all your typical playing features, including a laboratory option where this professor chap detailed everything you would need to know in order to keep your pet going, including warning you to remove pet waste under the heading of flush, which read, "Remember to flash the toilet." Swiftly, let's move on to Konami's Metal Gear on the NES, which produces these 2 awesome and classic lines within the first 3 minutes of gameplay. Now we're at Big Rigs, a game that has been described as broken, terrible, and one of the worst games ever, though there is something oddly satisfying about driving through some buildings, or incredibly, anything for that matter. It also unfortunately contains some broken English, with this message after winning a race which should say, "You are a winner," or "You're a winner," but instead says this now well-known quote. But that actually brings us onto the subject of beating a game or winning. For instance, you might have been trying and trying again to beat a game for ages, only to be congratulated by a broken message, which seems that these next 4 games all share. Take Prisoner of War for example, a beat-em-up adventure where you, a prisoner, have to escape the enemy's base in order to be rescued, spread over 4 fairly tough stages. And what happens when you beat the game? Well, you're welcomed by the following ending screen reading, "Congratulations." Not congratulations, but congratulations. And I'm pretty sure I've seen this somewhere else. Yeah, in Ghostbusters, as it's exactly the same spelling, complete with the following message. "You have completed a great game and proved the justice of our culture. Now go and rest our heroes." This next one is found in the debug menu of Zelda Majora's Mask, as by tilting the cartridge, waiting for the game to crash and entering left plus C right plus L plus R plus start, you can activate it. Scroll to the final bright red screen and it says, "Congratulations, all pages are displayed. Thank you, you are great debugger." A message I originally thought was broken on purpose, since this is for working out any game errors, but now I'm not so sure. But the best congratulation message comes from beating Ghosts and Goblins, where there are 2 broken ending screens that are rewarded to the player. Congratulations, this story is happy end. Thank you. And being the wise and courageous knight that you are, you feel strongeth welling in your body. Return to starting point, challenge again. Next up we have Super Mario 64, which includes a brief encounter with Yoshi, whom is standing on top of Peach's castle awaiting your arrival once you have collected and restored the 120 stars, and who greets you with this message containing an unfortunate spelling mistake. "Mario, is that really you?" And finally, here's the masterpiece that is Zero Ring, which is actually a really decent side-scrolling shooter, though the translation from Japanese to English for the game's intro has produced one of the most amusing and popular mistranslations ever. And to see us out, here's Geek and Hype's Konami Code website Easter egg version.
What happened? Someone set up us the bomb. We get signal. What? Main screen turn on. It's you.
How are you, gentlemen? All your days are belong to us. You are on the way to destruction.
What you say?
You have no chance to survive, mate, your time. Ha ha ha.
So I really hoped you enjoyed the video, and don't forget you can always follow the channel on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and if you haven't quite had enough of me for today, then here are several videos to watch which are all available on mobile devices.